Well, we are joined now live from Las Vegas by David Charns, an investigative reporter with 8 News Now. Good to speak to you this morning. Goodness me, the situation is unfolding. It's disturbing, isn't it? Are your sources giving you any information about a possible connection between the explosion outside the Trump Hotel where you are and the terror attack in New Orleans?
It's good to be with you this morning, or what is evening here, midnight our
Yeah.
time here in Las Vegas. My sources are being pretty careful to say whether if there is a link between what happened here this morning and what happened in New Orleans yesterday as well. Of course, both of these situations involve what we're learning are rented vehicles on an app here in the States where you can rent a car. It appears from what our sources are telling us that the two men involved in these two cases may have had some connection at an army base, or at least they attended the same army base. That is some initial reporting coming out here in the past couple hours or so. But they're also being really careful in saying, people do crazy things at crazy times. This does happen to be the first day, or what was the first day of the new year. That tends to set people off. We just had 400,000 people celebrating New Year's here on the Las Vegas Strip. So they're being careful to not necessarily say whether these could be connected, but they're not ruling anything out at this point.
I suppose certainly here, the other side of the pond, as soon as it was clear that it was a Tesla Cybertruck, you think Elon Musk, and of course he's already tweeted about it. Perhaps you could fill us in on what he had to say. And the fact that it was the Trump Hotel in Vegas means that you think, is there some pointed connection there? Is it being directed at those individuals in some way? Do we know if the Trump Hotel has ever been targeted before?
That is an excellent question. We know that Elon Musk was very obviously interested in this incident. He was putting out a lot of information on Twitter before police were reporting it. There's one of his tweets there confirming that this was an explosion. He was very quick to say this wasn't an issue with the car, that this was some sort of explosion in the back of the car, which, as you saw from the fuel canisters and the fireworks in the back of the car, that proved to be very true. It is certainly circumspect that you have a Cybertruck with Elon Musk being the CEO of Tesla, and then this happening in front of the Trump Hotel. Keep in mind, though, the Trump Hotel, visitors wouldn't necessarily know this until they get here. It's not on the Las Vegas Strip. It's about a block away. It's in its own kind of little contained area. But there have been prior incidents there. Obviously, the former president and now president-elect, his name is on the building. You see the T's there, and it is a target. There have been things like suspicious packages and protests and things like that. But for an explosion like this to happen is pretty rare. What police are telling us, though, is that this car was rented about 800 miles away in the state of Colorado and then driven here. And the way they were able to figure that out is because Teslas can't go 800 miles. So they tracked the charging points. And then they were able, because of all the cameras we have here in Las Vegas, they were able to track that car going up and down the Las Vegas Strip for about an hour before it got to the Trump Hotel. That begs the question, did this person want to come here on New Year's Eve and do something much more disastrous? Were they late? And then did they just decide at 7:30 in the morning, oh, I'm going to go over to the Trump Hotel that looks like a target? Those are questions we don't have answers to yet. But as you alluded to there, you're in a Cybertruck, you're at the Trump Hotel. We know Elon Musk and President-elect Trump, we know they're working together in the future administration here. So it does seem very suspicious.
David Charns, can I ask you, what is the mood in America right now? I mean, we're at a critical moment in America, aren't we? We have a new president, President Trump, being re-elected, and his inauguration is just days away now. The timing of this event to be on New Year's Day, when so many of us around the world look at the new year coming and with hope that things may change, that the world might be a better place, and this timing of this terror attack, it's probably no coincidence that it's on this day. Where does that leave America right now? What are people feeling, do you think, right now?
Walking down the strip, I have friends visiting in town, and everyone wants to go out and see things. And we were walking up and down the strip. You wouldn't have known anything had really happened, right? But you talk to people on social media, you talk to your friends, you talk to some of my colleagues here. We're just a block up the strip in this building, and I think people are stressed. We're in a political time when both sides can't really seem to get along. We're in a time when the president-elect put out a tweet about the New Orleans incident saying we need to have closed borders and that the borders should have been closed, and look at what the Democrats did. Then we come to find out that the gentleman in New Orleans was a citizen of Texas and was an Army veteran and was an American citizen. So I think there's certainly part of this country that is tired of this rhetoric, but there's also part of this country that doesn't feel safe, that we have a situation where someone can drive 800 miles and explode a truck, killing themselves in a very high profile area. And I think what our sheriff, the highest police official here, was trying to get across in that a little bit you played of him was that, let's just continue doing what we're doing. You can't control what other people are going to do, and let's just continue to monitor any suspicious behavior. But I think in these two situations, you can't really predict something like this. And I think people are just ready to move on with their lives, but kind of sick of the politics.
I guess people are going to be thinking, gosh, what next, aren't they? Do you think, in a way, I mean, when you look at those images of the car outside the hotel in Vegas, do you think, gosh, it was parked right outside the hotel? I don't think hotels in the UK that would happen just because of parking restrictions, let alone anything else. And also, we understand concerns in New Orleans about security, about barriers malfunctioning, about flimsy barriers not being able to protect. Has America sort of relaxed a bit about terror attacks? Is that the feeling there?
That's another really great question. I think that we're a very reactive society, right? So after we had an incident about a decade ago where a woman drove up on the sidewalk on the strip, killing a person and injuring many more. After that, they put up those stanchions. The word we use here is bollards, which are those vehicle barriers. But there's certainly going to be a discussion about how close cars can get, right, to an entrance like that. That entrance, that valet entrance, the main entrance of the Trump Hotel, while it's not on the strip, that is the main entrance there. You can park a car, and as you saw, it can explode right near the front door. Now, you mentioned Elon Musk. Elon Musk was quick to point out that because of the design of the car, the building wasn't impacted anyway. There's no broken glass you see in that video. The building was secure. They just had to put the fire out. But this is certainly a discussion about not necessarily what explosives people are buying in terms of fireworks and gas and homemade things, but what we can do about security. How close can cars get? Should more sidewalks have these blocks? Things like that.
David, we'll have to leave you there. David Charns, investigative reporter with 8 News Now. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and good morning, Britain. And just have to say, we talk a lot about these events, but our immediate thoughts are with the victims and the victims' families. It must be an absolutely horrific situation that they're going through at the moment.